Hello. How are you guys?
Hello.
Love the intro.
Thank you.
I was sort of vibing there.
A little bit of a vibe going on right there with that.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I want to say thank you for everybody watching that is tuning in. This is the Hiring Lens. Typically, we do every final Friday, but due to scheduling, we had to rearrange. So we're on a Thursday today. Of course, we'll be on replay on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And we're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Jeremy Nichols with Gecko Hospitality. I am a recruiter for the Florida market, hospitality, resorts, country clubs, restaurants. To my right is Thomas Finn. And if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jeremy, and hello everybody that is tuning in. My name is Thomas Finn. I'm the managing director of Edwards and Finn, which is a specialist revenue management and commercial analytics recruitment firm based in the UK. I'm also the host of ENF TV, which is a sort of channel that focuses purely on the commercial side of hospitality, interviewing various different leaders and actually taking you on some pretty cool trips as well behind the scenes at different locations and events. So that's me. I'll pass over to Aidan.
Awesome. Love that intro. Love the intro, Jeremy. Thanks everyone for joining us again. My name's Aidan. I'm the managing director of Ayla Recruitment. We are a specialist finance recruitment company in the UK. And I'm the reason why we're having to do this on a Thursday due to a busy schedule. Having just got back off my wedding and honeymoon and then going
Congratulations.
back out. Thank you. But straight back off on another stag do or a bachelor party for Jeremy this weekend. So I appreciate you two doing this on a Thursday for me.
No, thanks for joining us. And typically we have Christine Trippi with us, the Wise Pineapple, but due to scheduling difficulties, she cannot be with us, but she'll be back with us next month. So we're excited to have her energy back. So
Yes,
we miss you, Christine.
absolutely.
We'll see you next month. So this episode, we're going to talk about our 3 top tips to attract talent. Of course, there's several of them we can give you, but I feel like we just wanted to give you the first thing that came to mind. So I guess we'll just start from there because that's what people are here to do. If you're watching live right now, if you want to just give us a shout out, maybe pop it in the comments where you're watching from. We would love to see that. If you have any questions during the show or you want to make a comment, just put it up in the comment section and we'll bring it up to the screen. So top tips. Let's go to those and let's go to Thomas, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right,
Okay, cool.
I'll chuck it up.
Yeah, so my top tip, okay, do what's best for your brand, understand the current market before you post a job. Now, a lot of people may ask a question of what the hell does he mean by that? You know, of course, we know our market, we're in it. What I'm basically saying is before you post a job and you've got your salary banding on there and you've got your job duties and your responsibilities and all the usual stuff that people put on job specs and adverts, understand where your current market actually sits, where it's at in terms of its salary, in terms of its talent pool, in terms of where your expectations are with where the candidates are actually in. Because what you need to be starting to do, especially in the market that I'm in, I don't know about you guys, you may agree or disagree here, but I'm seeing more and more jobs being popped up. But you sort of question, have they even thought about the salary range? Have they even thought about the responsibilities within that job? Because it's completely out of kilt with where the market actually is. There's a couple of things that's going to immediately happen, and I've had this myself when dealing with clients, and I've also had clients of mine that have sort of gone out to get direct applications first off, which is completely understandable. But what you will then see is in sort of a month's time or 2 months' time, if they don't find the right talent, they'll then put another advert out with a higher salary. Or the job role, the job title's changed, or maybe the responsibilities have changed, or the role is completely changed altogether because they've realized that actually we don't actually need that person. We've just recycled the same job spec that we have for the last 2 or 3 years. Now that's where we as recruiters can absolutely shine, because we're in the market. We're in it, knees deep in it, and we're looking at salaries every single day. We're negotiating salaries every single day. I'm sure we've actually gone through bidding processes where somebody's had 2 or 3 different offers all at the same time, and companies that would usually get that candidate, in a heartbeat, have had to, really pull the stops out to get them in their business. So in terms of knowing your market inside out before just posting that job willy-nilly, I think is a massive thing now, because it's hugely competitive. And the market has changed in the last 6 to 8 months. Jeremy, I know, just before we jumped on this call, he's wanted to pull his hair out, for goodness sake. But it's about educating our clients, but it's also about our clients wanting to educate themselves. Get your HR teams to do a bit of digging first. Talk to a recruiter. You don't need to give them the job, but just utilize us. Use us for our information, for our insight. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's what I mean by really saving your brand some time, but also your reputation, by understanding the market before just throwing a job advert out, because it's really saying a lot more about you than you might think.
100%. I think there's so much more that you can do to really understand what you're looking for and how you're going to attract people than just putting an advert out, right? Like utilize what's around you and recruiters and your competitors and what they're doing, how they're hiring, what they're looking for, what's working for them. You can actually find a lot of that out easier than you may think.
It's available to you, right? And it's insane
Thomas,
that not enough people do it.
I think there's a little feedback in your AirPod in the microphone.
In mine? Really?
I think so.
Hold on. Is that better?
Let me mute and find out. Say something. Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah. Do you hear it, Aiden?
I could hear it. I didn't know whether it was me or not.
No, I muted you. It's not you.
Well, let's bring up our next top tip.
I want to elaborate on what Thomas said.
Better? Is that better?
That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
much better.
Okay, cool. Fine.
I want to elaborate on what you said, because what you say is spot on. And I don't know. I mean, I know you touched on it a little bit, but I feel like if you're working with a third-party recruiter, or you know what, forget about that. Any recruiter, even your internal recruiter, all recruiters. If you're a hiring manager and you're working with a recruiter, a TA, someone in talent acquisition, and they're giving you intel on what they're hearing out there, you have to listen. I wouldn't do this whole trial and find out like, hey, let's see if we hit a wall. Let's see if this works. Because that's a lot of what we're seeing now that's going on. And I feel like the more you trust your human resources or your hiring managers or your talent acquisition, when they're giving you this intel on what they're hearing from candidates, because that's what we do for a living, please take it more seriously and try to do it on the front end before you're halfway through the search and you're weeks or months behind on your search.
Do you know what? I've actually, this is actually quite a good example, and it might be worth bringing it up, because it actually helped a hiring manager build a case to actually increase their salary. It won't take too long. Do you want me to give you?
Yeah. Do it, please.
So every week with any of my exclusive clients, right? Every week on a Thursday, they get a recruitment analysis. So what it is, it's basically a pie chart with a load of information. So how many people are identified, how many people are interested, not interested, how many people were put through the first interview, second interview, and how many people haven't come back yet, right? So they get it every Thursday. So it gives us an opportunity to have a catch up on a Friday. But what I basically did in the separate part of the analysis is actually put reasons as to why these candidates weren't interested. Because I think it was something ridiculous. Like out of 60 candidates, 30 something of them all said due to salary, no.
Yeah.
But I took their salaries that they're currently on. And what I basically said to the hiring manager was, well, if I'm putting this analysis to you and it's got literally salary ranges for each of the candidates that said they weren't interested, couldn't you take this to your powers that be and basically say, look, this is a recruiter that's out there. He's an expert. He's in that market. He's been doing the search for the last 3 weeks. He's given us these 3 analysis that has been sort of building over the last 3 weeks. It's clear that the salaries aren't high enough. So, from what we understand, can we now put that salary up. And they did. It wasn't drastically, drastic amounts, but they were basically able to meet what candidates were looking for. And that was just such a simple way of a hiring manager that's clearly frustrated, giving them the information that they need, and then being able to use that to build a case to be able to get the change that they needed to get. So that again, that's just another way that my client at the time just utilized their recruiter rather than just sort of saying, let us know when you found somebody or send us the CVs. It was much more of a collaborative approach because they said, I don't think we're paying enough, but I can't do anything about it. And then we worked together to try and find a solution, and we ended up getting it. So that's the other thing I'd say is we as recruiters are not just here to fill a job.
You're right. Yeah.
We have so much more to offer. All you have to do is work with us on it. We're not the end.
It's easy to pull. It's easy to pull that intel if you have a proper ATS.
Yeah.
There's many metrics and many ways you can back up what you're saying. And a lot of times, whatever they want to see, you can find it. You know,
exactly. Isn't that's the main thing here as well, right? Is utilizing the data that you've got. I actually don't think that so there won't be many recruiters that wouldn't be able to do what you're saying you've done, Tom. But what you've actually done is you've shown initiative and you've actually given them the insight based on the data you've got. And sometimes, be it a recruiter, an internal recruiter, a line manager, whatever it might be, whoever it might be in terms of who's running that recruitment campaign, they are having conversations with people. They're hearing what's not right. They're hearing why the job isn't attractive or what they could potentially do to make it more interesting for somebody. And it's about communicating that. And the minute we communicate it and we actually give them real data, you can make a change on your job and make it more interesting. But if you just keep trying the same old things, you get the answers, but you don't do anything with the answers. And we're in a bit of a difficult position where we're not going to get out of it and we're not going to hire correctly, right? So that's the main thing, utilizing the data that you get and what you're hearing from candidates in the market.
And make sure it's current, because there's a lot of hiring managers right now. I don't want to call anybody out that still think it's pre-COVID. So, it's not that anymore. Salaries here in the US have, hiked up 10, 15, some 20K. Yeah. I'm not gonna say almost every single role that we're searching, the salaries are all way higher. I'm not talking 2, 3, 4K hikes. These are significant jumps across the board. And it's not just, directors and C-suite. We're talking and not just mid-tier management. We're talking hourly employees, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're in hospitality, which I know there's plenty of people in hospitality that watch this, and this might be common sense to many of you out there, but it's not to many. So if you take your hourly employees' hourly rate and multiply it by 40, 45, 50 hours a week, and it's matching what your salary management is making, because they're doing that. The salary managers are going to go and see what their servers are making or the front desk or housekeeping are making. And unfortunately, a lot of the management now is matched up to what the hourly employees are making. And that's why a lot of you out there can't attract management, because they can simply look at what the hourly people are making, do the math, add the tips, and they're like, why would I want to add that headache and have more hours and it be base salary where I can be hourly and make more money hourly and get overtime? So simple math, but that's still going on really strong, at least here. I don't know about with you guys.
Again, because my segment's very different. In terms of the hospitality market here, anybody can tell you that it's massively struggling. Part of that will be down to salary, but the movements between management and then, as you say, sort of hourly servers, I'm not in that realm, so I don't see it all that often. But it's happening because
that's right. Yeah, you guys don't. Yeah, it's a big deal here. But now the hourly rates now have taken huge jumps. Like line cooks, for instance, used to be $12, $13 an hour. Now $18-$20 an hour. I kid you not. Anyway, you
still struggle with it.
Exactly. We have a comment here, which is
very,
Kyle. Very, very valid. It's from Kyle. Kyle says, had a few conversations with people applying in hospitality, and most will not apply anymore to jobs if salary ranges aren't included in the posting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, we used to talk about this on Clubhouse like a year ago, right? Like 18 months ago, whenever we did it.
People.
Yeah, Kyle,
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, we agree with you, and we've spoken about this so many times. We just absolutely disagree with any job going out without a salary range on it. So
I think that's going to slowly go. I think that's slowly going away, because I know, like, I can't speak for all the job boards because I rarely post jobs, but I've been seeing that I don't think you can post on a lot of them now without putting the salary in. Kyle, maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't know. I think you still can. Maybe I think you probably still can.
Maybe
on the job boards that I post on and that I see. But
we can't do our ATS. Our ATS won't allow it.
Yeah, but your ATS, depending on obviously it's where you post, right? Your ATS is internal as opposed to the job board that you're putting your jobs on through your ATS.
So if you did it direct, basically you'd be able to do it.
Yeah. So employers will just jump on a job board and put an advert out and put competitive only. Or competitive salary. So yeah, we completely agree, Carl. We don't agree with it. And actually, I am seeing it less. And those employers that still do that, they are just missing out on top talent. So you'll sooner not apply and apply for one of their competitors that is putting the salary. So hopefully they'll learn soon.
Hey, Carla, must have to give a little message right here. Carla, you're watching from Tampa Bay. That's where I live. So hi, neighbor. Currently looking for an opportunity. You were a VP of business. You're biz dev for a culinary distribution company. Thank you for your insight. Hey, shoot me a DM. Talk to you soon.
And thanks for joining, Carla.
Yeah.
And one more, Kyle. In hospitality space, it's hidden for a lot of the big players unless it's internal. Kyle, can you elaborate on that? In hospitality space, it's hidden for a lot of the big players unless it's internal. Are you talking about opportunities when they're posted, they're still not listing the salaries for the internals?
That's what he means. Yeah, I think he's saying that basically all the big hotels still have competitive salary on their job adverts as opposed to the salary.
We'll see what Kyle says, and we'll throw up Aiden's top tip. Ready, Aiden? Drum roll.
Ready. So yeah, my top tip. Hopefully, it's an obvious one. But as an employer, as a company, you need to shift from the mindset of why should we hire you to why you should join us. Because the sooner you do that, the more interest you're going to get in people, the more excited individuals are going to be on a job interview with you, the more they'll talk positively of you, and the better their experience is going to be. And also, all of your competitors are doing it. The days are gone where the interviews last 45 minutes and it's a grilling session about who you are, what you do, what you've done, and why you should come up, what you can bring to us and why should we hire you, because it doesn't stick anymore.
Hey, I'm smiling because I'll pull a yin yang, because you're absolutely correct. And one thing that I say is to hiring managers, if I have the opportunity, is try to find reasons why to hire instead of why not to hire, because there's a lot of times, and you guys, I'm sure you've had these clients or these partners where you send them a resume and they look at it for a second and they say, nah, I don't like that company. Why are they job hopping? Blah, 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 bye. And like, wait, I vetted this person. You need to trust me. There's reasons why I'm pushing this person to you. Trust me. I saw the job history. I mean, I saw it. I'm a recruiter. Okay. It's not like I didn't notice that they bounced, but there's a story. So why don't you just give them 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a phone call? It's not that hard.
Yeah. No, I love that. I agree. And even not including recruiters, let's say that you like their CV, you like what they've done, you've had an initial vet, and then when you get to that interview stage, just absolutely sell your job to them, sell the company, sell where they can go, what they can do, what they can achieve, because it makes them more interested. It relaxes them in an interview. When someone's relaxed, they come across a lot better. When they get excited about an opportunity, they work even harder to interest you in them. They will go on leaps and bounds in the interview if they feel like it's a really good place to work and to join. But if they don't, you're going to lose out on the talent, right? So
I want to pull that up again because you made me think of something really quick.
Okay.
Shift your mindset. Why should we hire you? To why should you join us? Okay. So I think, and I'm speaking because I was a corporate recruiter for a long time. You guys know that before I went on my own. I mean, I don't think I was leaning into this too much, but when you're an internal recruiter or you're the hiring manager, you are in the driver's seat. You feel like you're in the driver's seat, and I feel like that mentality needs to really start to take a step back too. And that goes into what Aiden is saying, and make it more of a comfortable setting and more of a conversation. Yes, you want to get the meat and potatoes of the resume, and you want to find out if they have the skills or requirements for the role. I get that, but don't just hammer them with questions from a template and think that you're like the boss and they need to be some obsequious candidate to your job posting. And that does happen. I hear about it from candidates sometimes, that they just didn't feel comfortable. And then why did they ask me all these questions? And it was rushed and all the stop with that. And you might be making them seem like a terrible candidate just by your approach. Like maybe a great candidate walked in and maybe frankly, they just didn't like the attitude or the delivery.
Yeah, 100%. I'll give you an example. Sorry, Tom.
No. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so an example of my own mentality shift is, we were all trained to find a CV, talk to a candidate, and before you even talk to them about your job and why it's good for them and you sell the job, ultimately what you have to first do is spend 15, 20 minutes of going, tell me about yourself. What have you done? What's your career background? Why have you done this? Why have you made these moves? Talk me through exactly what you delivered here, what you achieved. And you're pulling out loads of competencies and you're grilling them. And then at the end, you then start talking about the job and you interest them in the job and you try and excite them. But actually, what I found myself doing in the last 2, maybe even 3 years, 2 years definitely, is I know that they're right because that's why I'm calling them. I want them to be right. So I just absolutely sell the job and the opportunity that I've got, provided I think they're going to be in the right remit. So I might ask a couple of quick questions that help me understand whether I'm going to waste their time or not. And then I spend 15 minutes really selling the job to them, why they should work for this employer, why I like them, how long I've worked with them, what benefits they get, the career trajectory. So that when I then get on to the point of, right, tell me about yourself and what you're looking for and what you've done, there's a bit more of like a bounce in their energy and they want to impress me. And therefore they come across better. And I find that I have much stronger and comfortable conversations with candidates than I would previously, where it was all about, right, what are you looking for? And now let me tell you about the job. You kind of flip it and actually you find that the candidates feel a lot more comfortable. I don't know if either of you are doing that or agree with it.
No, I do agree with it. It's more of a conversational piece. And I feel like, when something's all, you're handed like some template and you're kind of black and white with it, it's just not a recipe for a good interview. And I'm smiling because I saw Kyle wrote, and I want to start. So Kyle, you brought up STAR questions, and a lot of people don't know this. And this is what I think you mean, Kyle. So if I'm incorrect, let me know. STAR, you're talking about the STAR technique: situation, task, action, result, right?
He definitely is.
I use it. I was trained on it. I don't think it's bad. I don't know if you're laughing at it, but it is a conversational piece, and it's getting you situational examples of what the person actually did instead of these like random hypothetical questions that are like anybody can make up the answer to. And the STAR technique does force somebody to give you actual examples and how they reacted. So I like it. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, yes, he does agree. Okay, good.
I think as long as it's used in conjunction, with a wider conversation, I think it's a brilliant tool to use without 100%. A doubt. Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not looking for a STAR answer.
Everything. Yeah. I was trained. I was trained back in the day. I was trained on STAR, and I did 4 because we had 4 categories, and when I was trained, we didn't have templates. And I'll tell you who I was with H&M. So they're a Swedish company and very, very progressive recruiting. Maybe next time I'll share with you their assessment that they did. If you guys ever, it's the most amazing recruiting experience I've ever seen in my life. but please remind me next show because it's really fun to listen to. But
Okay.
anyway, they're trained. They give you boxes. Like they don't give you questions. It's like 4 boxes of the 4 different types of people. And like they didn't put questions in there when they trained me. They literally just give you the boxes and then you had to put a star in each one. So it's up to you as a recruiter while you're having that conversation to think of the star that fits in the box.
Mhm.
And that was a really good tool. Like that helped me a lot with just being more fluid in conversation and being able to, shoot from the hip.
Yeah. I'd also, to add on to the back of what Aidan's sort of main point, I think, again, hiring managers, recruiters, everybody needs to understand, again, that it is a candidate-driven market right now. They're going to walk out of that interview, and do not ever underestimate the fact that they probably will have 3-4 other interviews going on. And if you haven't sold your business well enough, you will lose that candidate. It is inevitable.
I want to bang my head against the desk right now because earlier we were talking about something like that. This is happening way too much. Yeah. The timing thing, and it stinks because we're hired recruiters. So I know what you're thinking, corporate people, because again, I thought the same thing. I was corporate. I thought this recruiter is being pushy because they want to make some money. Okay, fine, I get it. So it's super difficult for us to be very pushy because we know you think that, but we're actually trying to fill the role because candidates are not going to be there. So if it does happen with our relationship once and you see that happened, like the person is no longer available, please take that as a sign that we're telling the truth because it's out of control. It's happening. God, talk to my recruiters. I mean, I'm CC'd on the emails and I see it every single day. Mm-hmm. Every single day. This candidate has accepted an offer. This candidate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not, it's every day.
Yeah.
I must admit, so my point about shifting it to why you should join us, i.e. let's sell the job to you, let's sell the company to you, isn't actually targeted, or I'm not pointing the finger at any of my clients. My clients have actually been really good at this.
Yeah.
But it's candidates that I'm talking to that are telling me certain things that I'm like, I can't believe this. Like I've just shortlisted for a job today, some very good candidates, and 2 of them specifically are looking, and they're great, but they're specifically looking because their employer is still forcing them to come into the office 5 days a week. And I know in hospitality and like obviously your area, Jeremy, it's different, right? But in the UK and an office job, if you are telling people to come in 5 days a week, you are going to lose your workforce. End of.
Yep.
And
it's kind of happening in hospitality. I mean, over here, I don't know about. Maybe I'm sure Tom, it happens with you with dorms because the sales managers, the dorms, the DOS, the directors of finance, they can do a lot of their work, if half of it, probably more, from home. Yep. And I have some revenue searches and some sales searches, and I would say more than half of them will message you not interested unless it's at least hybrid.
Yeah,
not interested unless it's at least hybrid, or or if it's work from home. Yeah,
you know what it is for me now.
What are the working hours like in terms of, are they flexible or not? It's literally the second question every single time.
Yeah. So having a 3-2 split, i.e. 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, is no longer even seen as like a benefit.
No.
So like if I have a company that says to me, look, we're 3 days in the office, 2 days at home, I'm like, it's not enough. Like everyone's got like complete flexibility. Yeah, switch it around. Say, you know what, do your job and I don't care. Like I want to see you. I want some social interaction. I want you to come in a day a week, maybe 2, but sometimes you don't have to come in as often. But look, just get the job done. We're mature adults and I trust you. And actually, I'm finding that I'm getting so many more people that are interviewing in jobs that are 5 days and turning it down, or they're looking because the whole hybrid work from home just isn't there. That's just one example. I know we always talk about it, but that's just a small example of one of the things that employers just aren't doing that are making people come into the market right now.
I'm going to put my top tip up.
Please do.
It's kind of wordy. Boom.
You can read it then.
Yeah. My top tip: there is no silver bullet in talent acquisition. It is now a market of flexible thinking and nimble action. And I will peel it back a little bit to what I mean there. So I was thinking about like, oh, what's my top tip? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Everything works, and everything works not perfectly. And if you think that you have like this one thing, I'm just going to post it on Indeed and I'm going to wait for people, and or I'm just going to go source on LinkedIn, and or I'm going to do a job fair, right? Like everything needs to be done and you need to divvy it up because there's not one silver bullet. And the whole the flexible thinking, that's because and again, like my team will probably laugh because I don't really care about like what happened. I just want to figure out what the hell I got to do to fix it. Like I don't want to sit here and like complain about why we don't have candidates, why these people aren't moving fast, why we can't find this, why we can't place that. That does no good. Like flexible thinking and recruiting is paramount, and you have to be able to be nimble with how you react, humble about accepting things didn't work, but not really care about it and dwell on it, and just keep on trucking and being very creative. You have to be creative. You have to always think things that didn't work last year, maybe they work now. One thing that is working now is the freaking phone. Phone call people. And if they're not picking up, that's okay. At least they'll see that you're like a real human that like sent them that text or sent them that email. Because if you're just laying back at your computer and chucking out emails and texts, a lot of them will think it's spam. You know, one thing that we did, and this is just something we just did recently, which I'm reevaluating, and this is literally just happened this week, is I would send my calendar link out, and that was perfect for years. People would click the link, go to my calendar, schedule time to talk. Now I'm kind of saying, shoot, if I'm sending out like some text, maybe the first one, maybe I haven't like, this is not concrete. This is me being nimble right now, but I'm kind of like thinking I might not want to send my calendar link anymore. Not because I don't want them to book, but because people think it's a freaking spam, or they don't want to click it because they're going to get hacked or something. Right. So now I'm like, shoot, maybe I want to like establish that relationship real quick and get them like talking with me and then give it to them, because if I was just sending it to them. So anyway, that's my rant.
So I love that, and I wasn't too sure what your top tip. Like, I wasn't too sure on the on exactly what you meant by it. When you peeled it back, it is incredibly accurate of what it is like in recruitment right now and how to attract talent, and I am all for it. So I started this call with you two, right? And I was saying, you're like, oh, how's the honeymoon? How's the wedding? Are you glad to be back? And how's recruitment? And I was kind of like saying, I'm kind of a bit all over the place. I don't really feel like I'm back properly, and I don't have enough time to do stuff. And I think probably from Tuesday next week, that's when I'll really feel like I am back on top of things. And in reality, the reason why I feel like that is because how we used to be able to recruit, we can't do that anymore. I used to be able to go, right, I've got 3 days this week. I'm going to get on all the job boards for all of my vacancies. I'm going to leave loads of voicemails for candidates. I'm going to email people. They're all going to come back to me, and then I'm going to fill these jobs by the end of the week, and I'll move on. Right? Not fill them, but I'll have them covered. Now you have to be present and constantly active, and you need to utilize your 10 hours in the day to be creative on LinkedIn, to do shows like this, to send out video messages, to send emails, to pick up the phone, to call. And you don't know when the results are going to come in because there aren't as many people looking anymore, right? So I think that's what you mean by just being creative, being nimble. You can't rely on our old
every day. I kid you not. It's just like, if you notice a pattern, fix it. And you might not know how, and talk to your team and ask, like, what do you think we should do? Like, we obviously have a problem. What are we going to do about it? Oh, but you said do this. I don't care what I said last week. Let's change it. Obviously it was wrong. And I'm fine with that. I don't mind being wrong a million times if we can fix it. I'll admit it. It doesn't matter. Like, we need results, and we're a results driven industry. We're not compensated until we are successful in placing candidates, right? So like, I don't like phone calls. Like, I don't like making them. I don't. But like, if I need to make a placement and I'm down to the wire, you better believe I'm hitting the freaking phone. Like, do it. Like, Kyle made a comment. Boom. Here we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Kyle says, I'm 100% more likely to take a job if someone reaches out to me, even if I didn't apply. You feel in demand and valued. Was able to get 2 front desk agents that way. Completely agree, and yeah, fully understand that. You instantly feel valued. It kind of brings me back to my tip about why you should join us in some way. One of my reasons for selling to the candidate why you should join us is because they feel interested, they feel valued, they get excited, and it's the same with reaching out to them on a phone call. Instantly, they feel more valued than anybody else that you could have called because you've chosen them. So yeah, we'll completely agree, Carl.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel like they're just part of a massive pile of CVs and you're just going through the motions.
Yeah, that worked in 2020 when people were scared and wanted jobs. Not cutting it anymore.
Yeah,
not cutting
the good thing is that for those that kick our industry, they're really seeing now what we have to do in order to fill vacancies.
Yeah.
And if a line manager tries to do it themselves and has success, they're not having success easily. They're definitely having to work for candidates to join them. And I think, recruiters are really having to earn their money right now, which is amazing.
I know you think that's like, oh, you guys must be rolling in the dough. This is no. We're working for it. Hey, let's go to some. We have 2 articles I want to pull up. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Whatever one you pull.
I will pull up. This one is from Thomas, and I'll just pull it on up. This came out I think it was yesterday?
No, so it was actually sort of last month in March.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
go. There was actually another one that was released by the BBC. I think actually yesterday because I interacted with it.
But you want to read the headline and we'll pull up some points.
Yeah. Saving an industry on the brink of mental health collapse. And I mean, this issue has been something that the hospitality industry has really wrestled with for years. To be quite honest with you, for a lot of different reasons. And I had a situation the reason I thought this would resonate was because of the reaction and the response that I had from putting out my sort of feelings on this matter and where I was at as a professional who was working in the hospitality industry, surrounded by a lot of other professionals that, and I took a bit of a risk, if I'm honest, and I was just very honest and put it all out there, but the response was overwhelming. And what I'd realized once getting sort of messages from other people, and hearing actually a few of their stories, it was that, I think I say sometimes, I think we always forget that there's stuff going on. And the happy sort of face that is always projected from my side of things on YouTube and, the stuff that I do, you've got to keep an air of professionalism, but also an air of positivity. And it's not always easy to juggle the two. And then you think about the people that, in all honesty, are not working from home. They are in the service industry where they are in front of people every day. They're having to slap a smile in their face because they're a waiter or a barman, and they've got to have an element of entertainment there, of conversation and interaction and engagement. And again, they're working in some cases split shifts. They're working every hour God sends because they don't know if they're going to be the hotel's going to close again and all this sort of stuff. So I think the pandemic, if anything, elevated and actually brought more awareness to it because of its necessity. I think too many people remained silent before the pandemic, and then it gave people an opportunity and a platform to say how they were feeling. And it's that old saying of, I'm not okay, but that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. So one of these sort of statements in the article actually said, it was a quote, if we don't make an environment where people feel that they're cared about, this industry just won't survive. And that has never been more true than now. It really hasn't. From a talent acquisition perspective, either bringing people back into the industry who left because they did not feel valued or they were made redundant and they had to find another job through necessity, or bringing in fresh talent into the industry. There's a lot of people, and I can't argue with them on a lot of the sort of situations of, why would I bother? I can get the exact same amount of money, if not more, working in a fast food chain, and I don't take anything home. I've just got my standard shifts and I go home. They could work in some cases from home in certain industries and things like that, where they are doing customer service. So these service-based roles that are relatively junior in the industry that we rely so heavily on. I mean, Jeremy, you and I have spoken about this on a number of occasions, but housekeeping, for goodness sake, the pandemic on housekeeping on its own in the London market almost crippled it. Every outsourced housekeeping
is now the rooms department and the front desk and everybody else.
Everyone
now, right?
It's whoever's working that.
Whoever's there.
So we had hundreds of thousands of workers over the last couple of years leave the industry. That was covered all over the news. We knew that the amount of talent that we lost was insane. What I didn't realize, or the gravity of the situation from a mental health perspective, I was looking at reports from sort of 2016, where we were seeing already the crisis kicking in, but nobody was talking about it. And it's been the same problem that we've seen for too long, really. I mean, in terms of poor hours, ridiculous expectations, the money, it's all been sort of a perfect storm for what we're seeing now. Now, I want to say that it's not all bad news. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the pandemic, for all of its negativity and obvious things that it's done to us, it's actually come with its positives. And I think there's a lot of people that would agree with that. I think again, I can't talk for Aidan's industry, of course, but I think for hospitality, especially in the UK, it's had a serious kick up the ass. There's no two ways about it. I've seen hotel brands literally months before the pandemic saying that they will not have people based from home. It won't happen. We need them in the office. It's a requirement, and so on and so forth. As soon as the pandemic hit, all of a sudden it was absolutely fine for people to be based from home, and people were performing brilliantly. What this did was enable people to have a better work-life balance, which they became attuned to. And now, as Aidan said earlier, it's become an absolute expectation. It's an initial almost, dare I say, just reality. If I want a job, I want to be based from home. It's not unusual. It's expected. I think what employers need to start doing, and that's where the sort of time for change comes in. And I suppose a lot of employers would sort of say, well, where do we start? How do we even get to this point? What I found with talking to a number of employers who were frustrated, or with a number of people that were working within environments, is they were talking about their managers or their sort of, their executive team and things like this. They were box ticking. They were basically saying, we've got all this stuff, we've got it all.
But stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got that. We've got that. And then as soon as you ask, where is it? They're like, okay, well, let me talk to HR and we'll try and figure something out. There's no real infrastructure there behind the scenes. They've just got it on their banners and they've got it on their website. But what does it actually mean to have something that's a robust mental health forum for your people inside your business?
I think I have a lot to say with this, and it'll go this should, I think, and if you guys are okay with it, we should probably dedicate at least 15-20 minutes of this in the next show too, because I don't want to go on a tirade. That's the last thing I want to do, but I can't agree with you more. I relate to everything that you went through, not exactly what you did, but in my own life, like I've gone through episodes of not being okay, and I've been open about it too. So like I appreciate and understand like where you are coming from. Thankfully, I know that most people are more receptive to mental
Yeah.
health now.
Yeah.
I think it's the majority now. It's clear, which is very, very cool, because especially for someone like myself, 15 years ago, that's not something you share with people. And our industry is very tough. And if you can't hang, or you're not a hammer at work, you're just not good enough, right? I think I know we're past that. But I do know that there's still reluctance, or people are scared to share, which is fine. I get it. But again, there's so much to unpack, and I'm very passionate about it. So if you're okay, I'd like to talk about more of it next episode.
Of course.
As well.
Oh, of course.
I'd love to do it. I think we should do a show on that. Like we've got so much that we can talk about, right?
I think Christine could bring a lot to it, because she, for those of you who might not know, Christine's usually with us. She's our specialist on the onboarding and the training side. Yeah. So we're on the front end with the recruiting, and then Christine's here to kind of wrap it all up. And she's still, to me, onboarding and training is part of recruiting. Like if you could bring people in all day long, but they're not going to stay if your onboarding sucks and your training's terrible and your culture is horrible. So
100%.
I definitely would like to have her involved in that.
Christine will have a lot to say as well. She'll have some real good things she can share, I think.
I was going to say there's 5 points from the article that basically gave employers, actually, it was quite good. It gave employers sort of some quick bullet points as to what they can do when their people were either returning from work after going through something, or after the pandemic, when people were actually returning to work as well. What could you fundamentally do different to really engage with your people again? So if you don't, I'll bullet point them. Yeah. So for any employers that are on this and they're thinking about it, or that's something that they've been sort of contemplating, some employers did a complete salary review. So they looked at all their functions, they did the research, they did the digging, and they looked at the salary bandings for all of their people and did a complete salary review. So rather than looking at restructures, they just looked at the value of the people they had and where they actually sat in the market. And wherever that was, they reviewed it and they compensated correctly. Flexibility with working from home. I think, again, that work-life balance has become integral to anybody right now. And that sort of working from home or hybrid situation is a given. And that was probably one of the biggest things. I think it was actually at the top of the list. Opportunities to work on, this was really cool. Opportunities to work on social responsibility projects that are important to them and can help the business actually engage with its local community. So it was empowering the people to actually get involved with charitable organizations that were local to them or important to them. And it actually got the business to engage with its local community. So it was sort of playing it from both sides. You were empowering your people and engaging with your community, which I thought was brilliant from both sides. Monthly check-ins with staff. So again, just something as simple as saying, look, let's have a one-to-one. Let's just sit down together, see how you're doing. It might just be a quick catch-up, or something might be going on. And then finally, there was a company spokesperson that meets with the owner or director or function directors on a monthly basis. So they can bring all the points from their function, from all the people that might have different concerns, different issues, or suggestions for the business. They had a dedicated business spokesperson that actually came to the owner or the director of and told them what was happening that month or what was going on within the business in terms of issues or concerns, which I thought all the points were brilliant, to be fair. So yeah, no, those are just some things that employers might be able to implement quite, not easily, but quite straightforwardly. No doubt.
That last one's great, because a lot of people will not feel comfortable talking about their mental health or how they feel at work, whether they're down or struggling. But to talk to a colleague is a lot easier to talk to your boss, right? So actually that's something that employers can very quickly, easily implement if they feel that their staff are struggling, but they're not hearing that. It probably means that their staff don't want to tell them.
Yeah. I saw Kyle brought a good comment up. Thanks, Kyle. I feel you should get behind a microphone and contribute. Bring out some good stuff. Good stuff today. Here you go. I think a lot of us in hospitality space are willing to work long hours, switching AM and PM shifts, split days off. But over the long term, it causes some mental issues and burnout.
Yeah.
And I think the vast majority of people can agree upon that.
Yeah.
So PTO, health benefits, and culture are very important recruitment tools.
Yeah.
I go over this on my intake calls with every single new client or potential client when we do an intake. It's like, if they're a startup and they're a mom and pop and they can't afford benefits, I'm like, you got to think of a stipend. You have to provide some kind of benefits. We don't have a vacation policy. You have to think of one. What's typical? And I'll tell them, this is the typical. You need to have vacation and PTO.
Yeah.
It's so important. I had and I wouldn't say client, somebody who I speak to who's a director in South Florida, oversees a couple restaurants, and they don't have a vacation policy. They're literally like, if you ask off, they're giving it to them. Now that's super progressive. I'm not recommending that because it's hard to track and you don't want people taking advantage of it, but that's what they're doing. I mean, they're not really clocking them. I mean, if the people need time off, they're providing it. Again, I'm not saying that's a great idea. I just thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. More and more companies are doing that in the UK, like unlimited holiday.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So if you track people, anyway, it's another.
I want to bring up your article real quick, Aiden.
Okay, yeah, we got 10 minutes, 8 minutes, so
Let's go.
I'll whittle through it. It's more just kind of a bit of a snapshot of the UK market. So more employers are looking to hire permanent staff despite economic worries. So in the first quarter of this month, the first quarter of this year, inflation has risen, taxes have gone up, and employer confidence in the UK economy has dropped slightly. So we're in a position where most employers are starting to think about the future of their business in terms of profits, what they can invest in, what technology they have, and I guess then their benefits and their recruitment for their staff. But we're seeing equally that they're not unconfident in their staffing levels. So it's quite an interesting article in that there's a lack of confidence or a dip in confidence in the UK economy, even though there is still confidence, but there is still confidence there in making hiring decisions. So you can see here the bottom graph, obviously it's taken a bit of a dip, the purple line, which is the confidence. However, it's still plus 11 from a confidence perspective in making hiring and investment decisions. So employers are still looking to recruit.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say something today that it might sound kind of nutty, but it's pretty much saying what that article's saying. I've heard, a couple, people are getting nervous. There's a lot going on right now with the world, a potential bigger war, the Ukraine invasion is going on, and that impacts all of us. Inflation is idiotic here, and I know where you are. There's loomings of a upcoming recession. I mean, there's just negative flipping news everywhere you turn. It sounds awful, but we still have jobs scraping for people. And if I were an employer, I wouldn't park the brakes with all the stuff. Keep pushing because I don't know where the people are going to come from. Yeah. I really don't. I mean, I don't want to say it's written in stone because anything can happen, but I would, like that article is saying, you got to keep hiring. Don't stop.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen. I saw it happen here right before. I mean, it wasn't with the situation we're talking about. This like 6 months ago. There's a little bit of a dip in business for a couple of weeks, and we had a search in South Florida. The hiring manager parked the brakes on a search where we had the candidate like right there, right about to start. Parked the brakes. I think the person even got an offer, if I remember correctly. And they parked the brakes because they were nervous. And then things came back, and they won that person, and that person was gone. And now we're back to square one again.
Yeah. You need to start pushing retainers, don't you?
Yeah. But I'm nervous. You know what though? Can I talk about that a little bit? and this is you guys are probably gonna think I'm freaking insane on this, but this is where I'm at with retainers. And yes, I do ask for them if it's a search that I'm 100% confident I can fill. But there's a lot of searches that come where the market is so insanely competitive that back in the day, I would try to get exclusivity on them. I don't want exclusivities anymore, which is mind-boggling for probably 99% of headhunters out there. And the reason I don't want it is because ultimately I want the hiring manager in the company to find that position. And I can't confidently tell you right now that I'm going to fill it. And that sounds terrible. It's not that I'm a bad recruiter. It's just I'm being honest with you. The market's freaking crazy. And I would hate to tie you to an exclusivity, get a retainer for you. Everything's parked on your end. You can't do squat. And then for some reason, I can't fill it. And then I feel bad. You spent the money. And here we are. I can't believe I'm even saying this on live stream right now because I would have never, ever thought to say that. But I'm just trying to be an honest person. And I say that to them. Like, look I can do exclusivity. And if you do exclusivity, it will make your agreement a little better. You can save a couple percentage points. But I kind of would rather do contingent. Now, I will do exclusivity again if it's something that I'm like, oh, I got like 15 of these guys. This is going to happen. I'm confident in this. But most searches right now, it's just too nuts.
You just flip your exclusivity on its head. I'm sure you do, right? Your exclusivity is now with your candidates and not with your clients. So you get a candidate you absolutely know you're going to feel. You're going to have 5 or 6 different employers that are interested in them. That's your candidate you want exclusive.
I mean, you guys think I'm not saying that, don't you? Because that's the kind of where I'm at.
I don't think you're not.
That's okay.
I think you're just adapting to what you're seeing. And as you said before, you could do this for a while and then it might not work. But at the end of the day, you've got to try it. You've got to see what works and see what doesn't. So no, I think you're probably doing what's best in terms of what you believe right now.
At the moment. I'm not going to always do that.
But
the key thing is that you want employers to find good talent.
Yes.
And you want them to hire the job. And I still push for exclusivity on jobs here that obviously I know that I'm going to fill, but I don't really worry about exclusivity on one that I don't think I'm going to fill. And I'll be honest with the employer. And you're basically just seeing that at the moment more than we are. You're seeing that it's extremely difficult and therefore there's no point pushing on that. So no, I get it. I think it will turn as well, won't it? So
hopefully that changes and I can go back to doing that. But right now it's like I'm just trying to be as on. And you know what? I had those conversations always go very well because I'm being genuine. I know they can hear it in my voice and I break it down and I explain why. And we can still do it. It's still there. We can still do it. But I really ultimately want you to be successful and fill the role. And I don't want to disappoint you.
I think Dan's made a pretty good point in the comments. When I hire for personality. I can always teach the skills. I think that's a really good attitude to have. I think it's varying in different sort of levels of role, don't get me wrong, but I definitely think that's a great ethos to have. If you've got the right attitude, right personality within your team, and you feel confident to be able to get that skill across to them, you're onto a winner. I think with regards to a lot of the junior market that I deal in, you can get some fantastic driven people into the market, you know, and for an employer at a relatively cheap rate, you train them, you get them to where you want them. They've got no previous bad habits. And all of a sudden you've got a brilliant candidate within your team that you've homegrown. So I do agree with that point. And it's a good one, Dan. I just wanted to sort of point that out.
Yeah, I love that we said let's do this for 35 or 45 minutes. And we could easily
never happen.
And I'm like trying to like keep it like, you know, consolidated, you know, but there's just so much to talk about. And that's why it's really good to do these every month.
Quick hi to Subrat, who has said hello to us all. So I don't want him to feel that we've ignored him either. So thanks for joining us, Subrat.
Thank you for joining us.
So let's wrap it up then, and we can do a big session on, I guess, employee well-being and mental health next month.
I think so. So I guess I'll start.
Okay.
I'm Jeremy Nichols. You can find me on YouTube, and I'll put a link to my channel on the replay. You can find it right up there. I'm going to put a link for it there. Also, I want to do a quick shout out for Greg and Kyle with Hospitality MD. They sent me this fantastic shirt. If you guys don't know who they are, they have one of the best hospitality podcasts on YouTube. I will throw their link up too for the replay. You can catch them both out. They're on LinkedIn as well. They have a movie that they just put out. So I'm pretty excited to share that with you guys. I'll share that in LinkedIn. But yeah, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Greg, for the support. And you can find me on LinkedIn, same name, Jeremy Nichols. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, IG. But again, I tell you guys all the time, I'm not on there as often. You can find me on YouTube and LinkedIn all the time.
Awesome. So thanks, Jeremy. My name's Aidan. Again, you can find me on LinkedIn. So Aidan Murray, same name, really easy to find. I'm actually in the process of creating my YouTube channel, which I'm not going to put the link up to just yet. Maybe I'll put it up on the next show once we've got all of our videos embedded into it. So
I wish I had my air horn for that.
But yeah, absolutely.
For your channel.
About time of creating my channel. So hopefully I give some real good insight to people over the coming years. But yeah, always a pleasure doing this. I love you too. And thanks everyone for joining, and look forward to seeing you all next month.
I guess that's over to me then. So again, guys, Thomas Finn, it's the same name on LinkedIn. You'll find me with the same black and white photo I have on every profile that I have, and my YouTube channel, ENFTV. Again, go over there, subscribe, take a look at the videos. There's a lot on there. I think it's about 80 episodes now. So loads of content that's quite interesting. And if you want to see the behind the scenes at loads of different events in the UK, check it out. I'm also
and I'll put a link up for your YouTube channel.
Oh,
on the top
if
corner.
I did this,
yes, I will, right there.
and then my LinkedIn will hopefully be around here. And I'm also on Instagram as well. So Edwards and Finn on Instagram. So yeah, check me out on there. I'm as Jeremy said, I'm not as active on Instagram as I am on LinkedIn, but we do definitely keep it updated with the things that we're up to. So yeah, please do go check all the platforms out. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks to everybody for joining us. I suppose it's been really fun. And I just want to say, guys, I'm so happy to be back. For anybody that's tuning into this one, I haven't been around for the last few months, and it's been really good. So thanks, guys. I've really missed it.
We missed you.
We've missed you.
Very happy to have you back. Stick around. We'll see you guys next month, Final Friday, and there'll be 4 of us chatting. Thank you again. And if you're watching the replay and you have comments or suggestions or questions, throw them in, and we'll definitely get back to you. See you guys next time.
See you next time.